Ready?
Episode 7. All right.
Welcome aboard.
Man, good to be back.
Yes, sir.
I always look forward to this every week.
Same.
And
Same.
it's good that we keep coming back.
Yep.
I would miss it.
Yeah, same. And I hope you will miss it too.
Yes, good to see you again. Thanks for being here. I always feel like midweek I'm bubbling up with ideas and I'm like,
Yeah.
This is my outlet. I got to let it all out here.
Yes.
So,
That's why we're here, actually.
yes, that's it. We're just letting it all out.
Yep.
You know? So, man, good week for you. Anything exciting?
Good week so far. A lot of work, a lot of new people I'm going to meet and work with. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Always good to do. Networking and always meeting people who are inspiring and sharing, your experience, and
It's the best.
it's the best way to connect, especially in when you talk about business or stuff like that. I love to get pick up on people's brain.
You're your own boss, so you always kind of have to be ready for that.
Yeah.
You always got to bring your A game and always come correct.
Yeah.
Be proper, because you never know when you're going to meet, some of the best people.
Yes, that's true.
So that's great, man.
How about you? How's your week so far?
Dude, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It was definitely a fun week. A lot of teaching. I did a gig on Saturday, which was nice.
Yeah.
It was country themed.
Okay.
So
Cool.
it's a lot of country music. So the music was fun.
Awesome. Where was it? Was it?
It was
in
a school.
LA?
It was a school gala event.
Okay.
So yeah, it was in Studio City.
Cool.
And very nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it rained a bit, but we had enough trash bags to cover our electronic equipment.
Oh, that was outdoors?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
outdoors, and but nothing got damaged.
Yeah,
I mean, it was cool. I felt like I was Prince at the halftime Super Bowl playing Purple Rain. You ever see that?
Yeah.
It's very, very epic.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's raining. I'm gonna keep playing. I'm playing a song called Purple Rain.
Big shit.
Always that right there. Don't ever not be doing that.
Yes. At least you should do one thing a week that's pretty epic.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one, man.
Yeah, right.
And write it down too.
Yep.
And this week I really focused a lot on gratitude. I'm so grateful for everything, and that's I think people should never feel like they're not getting enough. It's like, if you're not getting enough, do the necessary steps to get more, but always be grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
Because if you're grateful for what you have, it's always when I'm grateful for stuff is when I get more.
Right.
If I'm not grateful and I'm starting to get that greedy, I don't get as much. And that, I don't know, it's just the way of the universe for me, I guess. And it's just my spirit. But when I'm grateful, I attract more opportunity. It's always been the situation for me.
Yeah.
So
in a state of gratitude, there's no place for pain, fear, anger.
That's right. Wow.
All this kind of you cannot be grateful and angry at the same time.
Wow.
So it's a very powerful state to be in, because it just opens the door to whatever good things will be coming to your way.
It's like the only way to open that door.
It's pretty much the only way, yeah.
Yeah. You're exactly right, though. Joy and anger can't be together at the same time.
Well, you can never experience pretty much the same emotion at the same time. Two different emotions at the same time.
Right.
It's always one at a time.
Yeah.
And very often, if you get angry at something, that leads to sadness.
Right. Exactly. Always.
Yeah.
Because I think of it as anger is like this roaring fire, and eventually the fire has to become dead ash.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's
you're
a
right, though.
Great analogy for sure.
It always leads into that. You're always that sad, that darkened state eventually.
Yep.
So, and this is an interesting thing. A few people have brought up this conversation to me over the last week. What's going to be the next currency? Money obviously has been big for a while. There's always been this big emphasis on making enough finances and being financially stable and even wealthy and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's still a thing. That's still important. But I was talking about it with my girlfriend. Emotions are going to be the new currency. She said that, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's really fascinating."
Yeah.
And that's something that's not going to go out of style soon.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be forever.
It's going to be forever.
As human beings. Yeah. This is how we function, pretty much.
Exactly. If you have, emotions are energy in motion.
Yes.
So
are you saying that people will like seek happiness in a way, and versus then they would exchange, maybe find a way to exchange emotions, or do you think that would be something?
I think so. It's an interesting thing because a lot of the arts, like music and even stand-up comedy, and all kinds of things, bring the endorphin, laughter and endorphins and good, good emotions to us.
Yeah.
Which is why they're always going to be kind of relevant. But it's a funny thing too with art, because a lot of music that's extremely popular, like think of your singer-songwriters, they have songs about heartbreak. You know, a lot of jazz even has a lot of not so pretty sounding moments because of times of racial oppression and drug addiction and stuff like that. So art can also reflect the worst of times. But I think, emotion's a spectrum, and it's important to acknowledge every emotion. Don't be angry or sad all the time, but if you are, and the art reflects that, it feels great to listen to it just in a tiny little small dose. That's what's reflecting your feelings. So I think all the emotions could be currency.
Matters. Okay.
Because we go through all of them as humans. And it's weird to say, but we kind of need all of them at some point. I'd love to be happy all the time. But you don't know what happy is if you're happy all the time.
That's the truth.
You can't you can't have one without the other.
Nothing exists without the other thing.
Exactly.
You need nothing to experience something.
That's right.
And the opposite. And well, it's I think as human beings we need to explore all these emotions, and I think this is why everybody has his own journey where we experience pain, suffering in a way,
right?
And we have to experience this. Like, there's not a single person on earth that just goes by through life being happy, joyful all the time.
That would be a little weird.
It's and in a way, it just makes no sense to your life because you don't have something to grow from.
Right. Exactly.
It's like if you've arrived already.
Right.
And maybe the human experience is meant to go through this because we need to focus on a journey, not arrive somewhere yet.
That's right. And things that challenge you are going to make all kinds of emotions rise up in you. Anything that is the right path is going to give you times of self-disappointment, frustration, I don't know, all kinds of stuff like that. But pushing through it, and even like boredom, could be something as well. Pushing through it is what's going to make you not only happy, but also in control. In control and capable of staying happy, even if some little annoying things happen.
Staying happy and find a way to maybe just experience any kind of negative emotions and then come back to what you want.
Exactly.
And I think it's more about staying neutral as much as you can.
That's a very good point.
Not be too euphoric when something amazing happens to you, you can be like, wow, this is great, but at the same time, don't go too high, you know?
Exactly. I always remind myself this, and not to sound cynical for the first part, but it's never as good as it seems. It's never as bad as it seems.
Yeah.
Stay right here.
Yeah, and this is where you brought gratitude. Is I think when you're grateful, you cannot also be so euphoric and be so high on being so extremely happy.
You kind of get lost in it if you're too euphoric.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's not a good place to be.
In gratitude, like you stay grounded.
Right.
You acknowledge that you're very thankful for something.
Right.
And you stay grounded at the same time. You don't take something for granted too.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a really, really good point. Yeah, I always think when people are overly euphoric, I think of like the old Oprah episodes or anything where people win a huge prize, or you get this and you get this, and people are getting these huge prizes and they're like going crazy in the stands and stuff. It's like, I mean, of course that's for television and it's all hyped up and everything. But except with extreme gratitude, I'm incredibly grateful. That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
But don't let it get all the way up to here. Don't lose your mind over it.
Yeah. It's good to raise your vibration and stay pretty, high frequency wise, but
celebrate a little bit.
Celebrate, yeah.
But find that middle ground.
This guy named Ed Milet brought that little phrase, a two-word phrase. That's very, very powerful, actually. He said, I want to stay blissfully unsatisfied.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's great, man. That's really, really good.
Very powerful because you always, like you were saying before, you kind of always want more.
Yeah. Don't be complacent.
And at the same time, you very live in a blissful state of being grateful for what you have already.
It's a perfect balance.
Yeah.
Be blissful because of all that you have and all that's going for you. And then
instead
also
unsatisfied of what you have to get more.
Right, exactly. Yeah, don't be exactly. Don't be ungrateful. And also don't be complacent. Don't be like, okay, that's enough there. Always be seeking more for yourself and work for it. In
terms of emotions, we know what emotion makes us do, right? Emotion leads us to take actions,
right,
all the time.
Yeah.
So basically, if you come back to the original foundation of that chain, I would say.
Yeah.
So you have actions. If you go back to what triggers actions are emotions,
right,
and what triggers emotions are thoughts.
This is so good.
And what triggers thoughts are your belief system.
Right.
So belief that you have about whatever it is.
Right. Okay, so, this ties so great into what I was thinking about talking about today, because what I really was focusing on a great deal this week is procrastination triggers.
Yeah.
What are, and so I'm a minimalist, and my journey is to, declutter, not for the sake of having less stuff or for the aesthetic of an empty room, but a space where I'm not distracted and a space where I can't run to those distractions. I have to-do lists all the time for the week, and I got stuff that I don't necessarily want to get out of bed and do, but it's really worthwhile to notice what your procrastination triggers are.
Yeah.
If you have this thing that you should do, you don't want to do it right away. It's very easy to pick up something like a phone with social media that just squirts dopamine into your mind and then kind of kills the boredom.
Yeah.
Helps you procrastinate.
Yeah.
So I'm noticing all these triggers and stuff. And you were saying emotions help take action. So do you think that the right emotions can help me not procrastinate?
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, procrastination is procrastination is taking action. You're taking action when you procrastinate.
Right.
You're making a decision to not do something, to push something further away.
Right.
Time-wise. So basically, you're responding to some kind of emotions. And that emotion is being triggered by your brain, who create thoughts of that person you're going to become when you're going to do that thing.
Right.
And your brain is like, I don't want to become this person. This person is a threat to the current identity you are living with, living through.
You're going to kill off this present person.
Exactly, and that brain wants to protect you from doing this. So it's going to trigger an emotion within you that's going to prevent you to take actions on something you actually want. You should be doing to get, to become that person.
And then the action becomes procrastinating.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but if you go the other way and you don't feed into that temptation to procrastinate, boy, I went through this a bit yesterday. I did. Mm-hmm. Of course, I didn't want to do a couple of things. I had to learn a few songs. I had to exercise. I had to go to the market. There were like 3 or 4 things, and I just did those things. Airplane mode my phone, did those things.
Yeah.
And I felt so good.
Yeah.
Every part of me felt better.
Yeah.
And it's like an ego death of the former you. Mm-hmm. But it's like I felt like this. I don't know. I felt like I felt stronger.
Well, you get new power.
Yeah.
It's just getting
it back.
You get it back. Yeah. That's the strength of being focused. That's right. What it is, because you cut up your distractions, and that way you have only one thing to do and focus on the moment present. And we don't realize how many times we just like take out our phones, notification or whatever, and we do that as a habit.
It's a compulsion.
Yeah, it's compulsion. Exactly.
It's really sick.
So it's if you cut this off, you naturally have more power over like how you're gonna feel your body.
Exactly.
So if you feel you like aware of how you feel, it's like, yeah, it's not really pleasant right now.
Right.
But I'm focusing on that thing. And if you stay long enough doing that thing, at some point you get in the flow state.
Right.
Where you don't need anything anymore. You don't need any dopamine rush.
Yeah.
You're just doing what you're doing in front of you.
It's like, this is what we do now.
And then your focus is getting narrowed to what's in front of you.
Yeah. I think you're exactly right, though, on just, curb the distractions. Move them someplace out of your mind.
So were you able to, tap in the type of emotions you were feeling when, before and after doing the task?
Yeah, so what was great was it's the emotions I felt before the task were I don't want to do that right away.
Yeah.
It's gonna make me it's gonna take time. I'm gonna have to focus a lot. So I'm not telling anyone to ignore those emotions, and quite the contrary.
Yeah.
Feel them.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
Notice that they're there, and also remind yourself that you're not your thoughts. You're not your emotions. Yeah. They're coming and going, just like clouds. Mm-hmm. And you have a mission that you have to, handle. You got to do stuff.
Yeah.
And it's at a certain point it's almost like it's a great feeling. Oh yeah, I felt this way. I really didn't want to do it, but I did it.
Yeah.
That's such a great feeling. And then it feels 10 times better when you even just start doing what you have to do. Like, say it's like working out. Oh, I don't want to work out.
Yeah.
Your brain is screaming at you. I don't want to work out. It's not going to feel good. It's going to take time. You're not going to be able to check your notifications.
Yeah.
And man, you start working out. You start that first set of push-ups and pull-ups and squats. You're like, yeah, I just told my brain. I just said, not today.
Yeah.
I just dominated.
Yeah.
So, and then you keep doing that, and you can only feel better and better. Mm-hmm. That's what's amazing. Mm-hmm. So I think one thing that's helped me quite a bit is putting my phone on airplane and putting it away.
Yeah.
Having little scheduled windows throughout the day where I do check it, and I check missed calls and texts and stuff, and I reply to people as a good human being. But being in control of everything. Mm-hmm. That's related to you.
Yeah.
So that is a very powerful thing, because when your phone is always accessible, or whatever distracting device, when it's always accessible, it controls you.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you're in the middle of a task, and everyone does it at the gym and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
and it's hijacking you.
Yes.
You were on this great mission, and it's okay to take breaks in your mission. That's not like go go go, but schedule your break times when you want them.
Yeah.
I think is a good
Yeah.
rule of thumb.
Have you ever noticed the difference between when you look at your phone, like maybe your sleep or your stress level,
Yeah,
between the days you look at your phone a lot?
yeah,
For instance, you make a post and then you check out, when you have any people reacting to your post, liking it or commenting it.
right.
And so these days versus the days where you don't look at your phone at all, you don't post anything on social medias. And so do you notice the difference between like how
Oh,
you feel?
a huge difference, and that's such a big trap. I like creating content and stuff. I've kind of gotten into that more and more to promote myself as a personal trainer, and yeah, I think making the post is satisfying, and it should be because you accomplished something. You made a nice post. But you have to train yourself to avoid keep going back and looking.
Yeah.
Did anyone like it yet?
Yeah.
Has anyone seen it
Yeah.
yet? Like you gotta put a big stop on that.
Yeah.
You gotta control that and save that for when you want to check your phone. And the more that you delay that, it's better because then you can look at it, when it's your scheduled time to check your phone and be like, "Ooh, this is good." A lot of people saw it, so it's always for the better. There's
So
never
it's good to have in your schedule a day, not a day,
time.
a time block where you're like, oh, this is when I can, check out my emails, my phones, or my notifications.
Yeah, schedule your phone time.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good thing, and make it short, but not like incredibly short. Don't make it a 1 minute thing. You can maybe give yourself 3 or 4 or 5 minutes.
Yes.
You need to write some emails.
Definitely.
But that's it.
Yeah.
And I think the more we train ourselves to, we discipline ourselves that way, the more control we give ourselves. And I think overall, everything that we, want that's going to like do good things for us is us winning our control back. Do whatever you want to do, but just, like schedule your vacations and have an incredible vacation, go all out on it. But just know that you put it there. It didn't just come to you. You're in control.
Yeah.
So phone time can be treated like a vacation a little bit. It's a little dopamine wave pool. That's kind of what it is, man. You're just like, this is so nice.
Yeah.
But that should be, scheduled when you want it to happen. It's not like you're like working on something and all of a sudden the wave pool comes and gets you. Oh,
like for instance, I do that with food.
Okay, good. Let's see.
Most of my meals. So I prep my own meals, cook every day.
Nice.
Because I take that moment to actually relax and think about less things. I would say
it's meditative. For sure.
Yeah, just cook your food and then. But I do have a moment in the week. I do it once a week.
Yeah.
Where I just get something like super delicious. And just have this dopamine rush from eating.
Right. Yeah, you schedule that.
So allow myself to do it once a week. It's scheduled, and then that's always the same time.
Right.
And sometimes I skip it actually. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, Will?
You don't need it.
You're good.
Yeah, I don't need it this week.
It's funny because the more you like you're saying, like you take control over your mind and your emotions by not responding to it.
Right.
The more you are aware of how they function.
Yes.
And then the less they have power over you in the end.
Right.
And sometimes you take even better decisions by not doing the things you would normally do.
Right.
To get dopamine rushes.
Yeah. So what's one of the high dopamine meals, would you say? Is it something like junk food or is it...
For me, it's pizza.
Nice. Yeah. Very good. But it's like, it's at the same time, it's not like pizza suddenly came and took over.
No, exactly. What's very funny too is like it used to be burgers.
Okay.
And over time, I was like, no, I'm kind of over with burgers. Like,
right.
When I think about it, it's just like that thing is like it's so quick to eat too. It's just like full of bread too,
Right.
and most of the time the patty is just there are chemicals in it,
Right.
and yeah, I'm not a big fan of it in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel pizzas are they have better even more like stronger taste of like super
Oh,
good
you
taste.
can't. I mean, man,
It's got such like
even when pizza's bad, pizza's pizza. It's
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah, it's always good somehow.
You know.
So it's but I'm still like at some point I get over it still. I'm like, oh, you know what? This is usually the day I get a pizza, but I'm like, it's not
Right.
good. I'm just gonna enjoy my food actually.
Yeah.
My
Enjoy.
whatever like beans, broccoli,
This was planned. It was
avocados,
deliberate.
and yeah,
And after the pizza, you're gonna go back to what you normally do, and
yeah,
you'll be fine.
yeah.
So that's really good, man. That's very good. I've been on a major like health kick. Oh, you know what? Actually, hold on. I take that back. I have been on a major health and food kick, but
Sure.
my usual daily thing, which is most days, I'll say, is my little miso ramen concoction. So I have the green Morihei noodles,
Yep.
which it's ramen noodles that are high protein and high fiber. It's
Yeah.
like 10 grams of protein per pack and then 12 grams of fiber.
So good.
Which is great. And then, so that's really healthy and all. And then I also put the miso, and the miso packet is my little salt bomb of the day. It is pretty high in sodium, but it's still got seaweed and tofu,
Yeah.
and it's healthy. It's not terrible, but that is my little treat to myself.
Yeah.
Each day.
Yeah.
And that satisfies my savory.
Yeah.
Hunger.
Well, it's mostly because it's full of sodium.
Yeah.
It's helped so much, and then is there like any fat in it? Is it oily or?
No, hardly any.
Okay.
No.
Well, I think the salt helps a lot.
Yeah. My other things that I cook, like I'll cook rice and I'll cook veggies. I definitely do the olive oil, the coconut oil in there. Yeah. So I get that going in there too.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll even put a little tiny squirt of olive oil in the soup. Just oil it up a bit.
So I did the pack you gave me, and then it was so good. It's so many protein in it.
It's impressive.
And I added one egg on top of it.
There you go.
I made it my own way. Protein. Yeah, it was so many protein on that one little meal, and not too many carbs, barely anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was so good.
It's very satisfying.
It's so cheap too.
It is.
The whole thing, I think it was like max, I don't know, $3.
That's exactly, which is incredible. Yeah, man. That's definitely bang for your buck, without a doubt.
Yeah, 30 grams of protein. It's like, what?
That's amazing, dude. Yeah, exactly. So it's good, and the best thing about things that are kind of like meals that are a little small like that is, it's you want to give it some time, because it takes some time for your stomach to tell you it's full. There's a Japanese saying "hara hachibu," which means eat to 80%.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm certainly guilty of this. I eat kind of fast.
Yeah. You do eat fast.
Yes, I do. Yes, it's just like, and it's gone.
Yeah. You like
just look at it.
You're just magician. Boom, disappear.
Now you see it. No, you don't. But it's important to give it some time and let your stomach finally tell you, okay, that's enough. Yeah. It's a survival mechanism from the Paleolithic era and stuff, where it's like there's scarcity, because it's an actual advantage for you don't know when your next meal is going to be, so stuff yourself up like crazy for survival.
You know the difference though, why it takes 20 minutes to appear?
Why is that?
It's because we evolved by chewing way longer.
Chewing longer?
Yeah. Because the food you would chew is like it's harder to digest.
Right.
So it would just take humans to swallow things like way longer. So we chew for a long time and swallow. But the whole process would just be, in the end, you have less food in your belly. your stomach,
Right. Because you've been chewing so
yes,
much.
it just gets down slower.
That's so interesting. I never thought
But
about
now,
that.
because we eat so fast,
Our food is more easy to eat.
yeah,
It's softer.
the stomach is processing thing. Be like, okay, now I'm full, but it's too late. I've been full for like 10 minutes already.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Louis C.K., the comedian, once said, "The meal's not over when you're full. The meal's over when you hate yourself."
Oh my gosh.
But don't get to that point. No, exactly, though. I mean, that's also a very good point. Even though our food's easier to chew now, it's like chew it a proper amount. Was there a special number, like 30
something
chews?
like that. 30 chews, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then swallow it down when it's like water.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And one other thing, it says that it's more on a spiritual way of it, but it does say that you actually separate the spirit from the food.
Oh,
when you chew.
Interesting.
When you chew enough, yeah.
Right,
and then some of that, especially when you eat salad,
yeah,
a lot of water full of nutrients go through the bottom of your mouth.
I see.
It goes straight into your bloodstream.
Right.
Versus going through.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like almost under your tongue. It like goes through.
Everything like in your mouth actually can absorb the food.
Right.
Through when it goes through the tissues of your mouth.
Right.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy. And so here's a fascinating point, and you and I are on the same page about this for sure. Not to pass any judgment on people who enjoy alcohol, but alcohol is unique from any other intoxication substance because it is water and fat soluble. It passes through everything remarkably fast. There's no blood brain barrier for anything. Normally, and I learned about this from an Andrew Huberman video, things where there's receptors for it, like nicotine receptors or THC for marijuana.
Yeah.
It's like a parking space. Think of it like this. So
it's meant to receive the information on a very specific location.
Yeah, a specific location, and it sits there and gradually, goes in. Alcohol does not. It passes through so fast.
Wow.
And that's
I had no idea about that.
Yeah. So even when you're drinking it, a lot of it, most of it will go down your throat, your esophagus, and all of that. Yeah. But just like you said, the tissues of the mouth area, it passes through all of that, goes straight into your blood, even faster.
Wow.
So that's why it works so fast, and that's probably part of why it's so popular.
Yeah.
It's a really, really quick way to get buzzed.
Yeah.
That's
why I would just smell just a glass of like spirit.
Right.
I would just get drunk just like that.
Exactly.
I mean, I feel like it, maybe not, but that's the sensation I have.
Yeah, and they call it spirit for a reason because it takes over. It takes over your mind.
Yeah.
Even after a little drink or something, you're already a different person almost.
Yeah.
Not drastically. You're still you, but you do change.
You do change.
So.
And it's very interesting because when you stop drinking, you can see how much people change when you do drink.
That's the crazy thing.
It's something you've never noticed before.
Yes.
Like I encountered that when I stopped drinking when I was in Berlin, Germany.
Right.
And this is why I lost all my friends, because I would still go to parties.
Right.
But instantly when people would start drinking, I'd be like, wow, I would just observe them. I was like, it's just like such a different person.
It's weird,
man.
It's
so weird.
Yeah.
And the more you experience this,
the
more you are very sensitive to it, of course, but you kind of like, you want to push this away somehow.
Yeah.
And then it's very interesting is you would never notice that if you are a drinker, if you drink alcohol.
Right, exactly. You'll never notice.
Yeah, you will never notice.
You're all on the same page as everyone. It's such a strange thing. Yeah, and it's on a social level, it's very strange to be the one who's not drinking around a lot of people who are drinking.
Yeah.
And they'll say like, "Are you okay? Like, you all right? Yeah, like something wrong? You're not drinking."
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I mean, to me, I got my thoughts on it. I think it's really not good for you. I think it's very much a poison. Because it starts off as alcohol, but when you drink it, your body turns it into, I forget what the complicated word is for it, but it turns it into a poison. It turns it into something that's really damaging.
Yeah.
So and it's yeah.
I think in the future, the more we are conscious about that, I think it's going to become less and less something that we do socially.
Exactly.
I think it's going to disappear in some sort of form.
Yeah.
Or it might become something more of a very specific occasion.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this is an event.
Right.
We share drinks for that reason, but people wouldn't go after work to just drink in a bar.
Right.
I think something that thing might go like slowly, but over time, as people are awakening more and more about society and everything, and how the world, or how society has us slaved.
Yes, exactly. It's a societal
Because
pressure. It's a societal norm,
it's
though.
so much part of that system of like the 9 to 5 work
Yeah.
and the work of chain where people just work. So you go there, they give you coffee, that's your first drug.
Right. Exactly.
to
That's it.
stay
That's
to
where it
stay
starts.
to stay awake and alert, and to be able to work throughout the day,
Yeah.
and then to release all that crazy tension of doing something you don't really want to do, or
Right. You're kind of pepped up for it. You're in
yeah,
this heightened.
where the second drug is like, here, this is alcohol.
This is your downer.
Alcohol, yeah, for your
brings you up and down.
yeah.
And it starts all over. And if you're one of those where you're like, okay, Friday night you go out with your drinking circle, your buddies, and you go and you have a drink. If you have a lot to drink, yes, you do have the hangover that next day, but you are not fully recovered for a few more days.
Yeah.
It's going to take like 3 or even 4 more days,
Yeah.
Depending on how much you drink and how little hydrated you
Yeah.
are, too. If you do drink, please do yourself a big favor
Yeah.
and drink a lot of water.
Yeah. Water is the way to to get it in, especially if you get some maybe electrolytes actually.
Yeah,
in the water
electrolytes
as
are
well.
good. Exactly, because it depletes all of that so quickly. But it's kind of an evil little cycle because, okay, let's say Friday night's your drinking night, Saturday's your hangover, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday, you're still kind of recovering a little bit, a little cloudy there. And then it's not until Thursday the next week where you're finally like, okay. And by that time, Friday's right around the corner again. So it's this little circle, man. So that's why, it's hard to elevate.
Yeah. But once again, I don't think we realize this.
Right.
You gotta really get off the drinking to really like see.
You have to, yeah, exactly.
It's because if you don't experience that by yourself, you just think this is just like
it's normal
BS.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's not that bad. It's just
right.
But really, once you get out of this, it's like what
Yeah.
I wish somehow like I would have. I'm very grateful for that because it really opened my eyes when I was like 28.
Yeah.
And I stopped drinking at 29. And I really realized that, damn, I'm still young, still in my 20s, so I stopped. But I even wish I stopped even earlier than that, to really take control over my life, because that was my goal for me. I wanted to stop drinking because there's no way I can spend just one day like feeling trash.
Oh no, it's terrible.
And do nothing, and all I would do is just like sit in bed late and eat crap stuff.
Yeah. And your sleep gets all jacked up too.
And you kind of feel depressed.
Yes, it's a huge downer.
How you feel about yourself is like,
dude,
it's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So in my head I was like, I want to have a meaningful life. I'm going after something, have a mission, have a purpose.
Right.
There's no way I can spend one day in that state. Not a single day.
Can't afford one day of it.
And it's not just one day. Most of the time, like you said, like it's like 2, 3.
It's like 6 days of complete recovery from it. It's a hard hit, but we don't recognize it. Because it's just like.
It's a blessing once you actually find a way to get out of it.
Yeah.
And it does take a lot of work, though. It does take the work of having the courage to do it for yourself.
being
and
different.
in confronting other people as well,
Yeah.
because your friend's gonna like trash you.
You're gonna, yeah, you're gonna lose a big group of friends.
I lost all my friends in Berlin.
Sure.
At that time, I lost them all.
Yeah,
I had maybe 20 people who were just having parties all the time, have fun.
Yeah.
Everybody
I
started
had that
to,
same period of
fade
time
away.
happen for me, where, gosh, man, even like going vegan was one thing too. I completely lost a huge group of friends, and it was hard at first. So, I'd see like weddings that I, wasn't invited to and stuff like that, and be like, oh my gosh, man, I really separated myself.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to. I just meant to, be healthy and, not be bogged down by healing
Yeah.
from a rager. But it really is. It's hard on a social level to be different sometimes.
Mhm.
And I really felt that, this weekend I was around a lot of, a lot of free alcohol everywhere, a lot of free meat everywhere. It's like, oh look, sorry man, I don't, I'm good, thank you, I'm good. What's wrong, man? You okay?
Yeah.
Then they'll ask me stuff about myself. Oh, how's this going? How's that going? And I'll realize, gosh, I am like an alien to these people. I'm a minimalist vegan who doesn't drink. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
This is so, but how do we stay true to ourselves? How do we not feel bad when there's societal pressure?
Well, I think the best way to do it is just to have compassion for them, for everybody,
Exactly.
and not
Don't
see
judge.
don't separate yourself. Don't see yourself as the center of the world as well.
Right, of course.
I think in life we just gotta be okay with that. Be okay with who you choose to be, and that means be okay with what others choose to be as well.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah,
And then
exactly.
it's the best way to go through it. And honestly, I think over years after, especially not drinking, not partying, not even going out anymore,
Right.
it always sometimes be like, oh, they want to, some friends want to, hang out and do that at this bar.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't want to go to the bar, so I just don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I feel for like a few seconds, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It feels lonely a little bit, but you know what?
You're staying true to yourself.
Yeah, look at what you're doing in the end.
Exactly.
That's my life. That's what I wanted to be doing. And if this is what they want to be doing, great.
Exactly. And it's exactly right. I'm not out here to like tell people what to do, especially not to try and be like me. It's like, dude, do what's gonna fill your soul, what's gonna make you happy, man, and be with people who love you. That's great.
Yeah.
It does take a bit of courage at first to break from some norms like that and be different. And it could mean, if you've been drinking with a group of friends for years and years and you take the alcohol out, I mean, if you take the friendship out, it's like, well, then the friendship was just on this flimsy foundation of drinking.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So it's a hard reality because these people are very sweet. They're not bad in any way.
No. And then, there's a lot of people now who don't drink, but like, I know Gen Z is like, a lot of them don't drink compared to us, as millennium, we would drink more than they do.
Right.
So that's a very interesting thing to happening as well in the society where people are like, I actually don't want to drink,
Yeah.
And
exactly. And the more that there's these kinds of people, it's like, okay, there's a group of people that do and that don't.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
You find new friends.
Yeah. I still want to hang out. I wouldn't mind going to a bar to celebrate, but I'll just have soda or whatever.
Yeah.
But I like the social part.
For me, I would just do like the sparkling water.
Yeah.
It's great. It's just sparkling water and just put some lime on it.
There you go. Like vodka Sprite or something.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I'll do a Diet Coke.
You can even drink it with a straw.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks bomb.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. What's the drink? That's good. Yeah, it's my secret.
Dude, I'm getting so turned up right now. You have no idea.
Yeah,
the sparkling
I'm
water.
very hydrated. That's what I can say.
That's right, man. I feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing with any kind of intoxication is it's getting expensive.
True.
So that's another thing. a large part of why I really don't do anything is because everything's expensive, honestly, man. I've been tapping back into the power of frugality. My favorite F word. Next to free. But being frugal to me is such a wonderful thing.
Yep.
Because it's not being cheap. It's you can still have really, really nice things.
Yeah.
But you're not overspending and you're not compulsively shopping. It's not like shopping's a hobby. You're making the absolute best out of what you have, wearing it till it's.
Do you think that well thinking would just bring you more aware of of money in general? Like, so you pay attention of how money moves more?
Oh God, yeah. Absolutely. Big time, big time.
Yeah.
Frugality definitely helps in that way. It's essentialism. You have your necessities, but if you just watch your money and you watch your spending or lack of spending, you can make your money work for you more. You can invest.
Yep.
So that's kind of the kick I'm on, is like, live well below my means and invest and just let it work for you.
I've heard something very interesting, which is actually creating your relationship with money. How to better that?
Yeah.
Would be to pretend that money is a person. Ooh. So imagine if a person, if you pay attention to someone, or if you ignore that person will be like, I don't know why this person ignores me. Maybe he doesn't like me, so I don't want to be around this person.
Right.
So all the time it would.
That's good.
Yeah, it would be like, what if I take care of this person?
Yeah.
I take care of this person.
Check in on them.
Have a nice, give and receive situation, good transactional situation where you take care of it, you allow it in your around you.
Right.
At the same time, you give, don't take.
I love that.
Put boundaries too.
I mean, that's so spot on. You're like caring for this person that is money.
Yeah.
Your money.
And just to make it your best friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just make it your best friend and have this person very close to you and where you can support each other.
Right.
It's like, I respect the way you work, and so you can respect the way I work.
Yes.
So you create very, very strong and very strong bond
so cool.
with relationship with money.
I love that.
I love that too. I heard about that maybe like a few weeks ago. I'm like, I've started to implement that right away. I'm like, and it's very interesting if you observe yourself towards money.
Right.
You can pick yourself up and be like, oh, that's not very,
Yeah, I heard it. I gotta.
It's not something I would just, act towards someone.
Right.
Or I don't want to be stressed out around a friend of mine.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't be stressed by money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't be stressed by when, your friend money hangs out with you. Don't be
comes to me or just wants to go do his own thing.
Yeah, don't ignore it.
Yeah.
Don't be careless about it. And so how do you what's some of the first couple of steps to building that relationship with your friend money? I mean, check your bank accounts and stuff and see what your numbers are, but
acknowledge it.
Acknowledge it.
Everybody wants to be acknowledged to feel important.
Yeah.
So do the same thing. So you can have this in your morning routine, be like, after you use a few things, you can check out your bank account.
Yeah. And hey, buddy, how are you? Do a FaceTime with your bank account.
Yeah.
Yo, you doing good? It's gonna be a beautiful day,
just
man.
Give it a check. Yeah, check it out and be like, cool.
Yeah.
We have this, and then I think that's just the main thing. And every time you're about to, use it for something, if you have a friend of yours like, yo, you want to. Let's do that something together.
Yeah.
Let's just, I don't know. Let's get some something somewhere.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be like stressed out of being like me with you doing something together.
Right.
So that means that means you shouldn't be stressed out when you use money.
Right.
To get something, just as a coffee, for instance.
Right. Exactly.
So every time if you buy something like a daily thing like a coffee. Don't be like grateful for it.
Right.
So I want to be grateful to have you in my life. It's the same thing with money. I want to be grateful every time I use money.
Yeah. It's like, hey, We're gonna get a coffee together today. All right? Is that cool?
Exactly.
I appreciate you. Thank you, man.
So be grateful to use it and then have it, give it away, and then grateful to receive it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Every time you have to acknowledge this. Every transaction.
Right.
Is very
exactly.
Important,
it's like, all right. I'm gonna need you for a moment here.
Yeah.
We're gonna be good.
Yeah.
But
just be best friends.
Yeah. Just treat it like a living human being. I love that. That's so cool. Yeah. So frugality is really great, and it ties in with my interest of minimalism quite a bit, because not only is it you have less stuff, but you also appreciate everything, and you get way more than if you use things and you take care of your things. Then you get way more than the money value of it.
Yeah.
You take care of your clothes, and you take care of your, I don't know, just all your belongings.
Yeah.
You clean up all your stuff after you use it, and then it lasts way longer, and you save money.
Yeah. Anything that you take care of looks better over time. It's so interesting.
Right.
If you leave a piece of something that you never use, it kind of like disintegrate, like it kind of lose its ability to do what you're using it for.
Right.
It doesn't work very well anymore.
Well, it gets all dusty too, and it's all dusty and rusty. I noticed that with like all of my workout equipment and even my skateboards and stuff. And skateboards get all thrashed up over time anyways. But there's something sad about seeing equipment that is just not getting used. And it's all dusty and rusty. It's like, boy, that really sucks.
Yeah.
So it's great. I love like well-worn clothing and things and appliances and pots and pans. Everything when it's been used so many times but still taken care of. It's like that's so good. It's gonna take such good care of me.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's 11/11.
Make a wish. Think of good things.
Think of good things. Yeah. One other thing I kind of want to mention before we maybe stop.
Yeah.
Anything that we talked about today is it's got to be you are able to pursue it if you're in a state that allows you to.
Right.
And there's this guy I watch. I follow on YouTube. I've been watching his videos a lot.
Yeah.
His name is David Bayer.
Okay, I haven't heard of him.
And he's got, I think, his channel for like maybe a year or something. And he's growing very fast because his way of explaining everything, it's so accurate and so easy to understand.
Nice.
And I've been like really focusing on this guy. Be like, everything he says like makes so much sense.
Right.
And it talks a lot about the two different states we are in all the time.
Right.
And once again, when we're talking about emotions, you cannot be in one state and the other.
Yeah.
It's either one or the other.
Emotions are one or the other.
Yeah. And for these states these two states are the primal state, which is going to be being a state of fear.
Right.
And everything negative.
Yeah.
Having these emotions, of anger, depression, even being stressed.
Fear, anxiety.
Yeah, anxiety, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And the other state is a powerful state. It's a state where you take inspired actions.
Right.
So you want to do something because you inspired to do it.
Right.
And you like excited about doing it, and you feel very good about doing it, and you feel good about the future as well.
Right.
Right. And these two states are extremely important to be aware of, because if you take actions in one state or the other, what's going to happen is you're going to have the outcome related to that state.
Right.
If you take an action in a fearful mindset, fearful state, which is a primal state, you're going to create more fear in your life.
If you're in that fearful state.
Yes.
Right.
And the other way of same thing is like, if you're like in a powerful state, you're going to have more of that good feeling actions being taken on that, and then the return of it's going to be like feel good more.
Right. So your actions should be put towards the things that are going to make you feel good.
Yeah.
Even though you might have these fears and stuff. Like I'll give you like very quick example. As I get into personal training and coaching people more and more, my fear that I sometimes have is, and it's for the most part, let me grab that. You know, it's partially irrational.
Yeah.
But say I have a client who's like already in incredible shape, and they outwork me, and I look exhausted and get all gassed and everything, and I can't like keep up to my own client. That's like,
Well, change the narrative of it.
Yeah.
So basically, you're going to be, I'm here to coach that person.
Right. Exactly.
You're not here to compete.
Right. Exactly.
That person is maybe like stronger than you.
Could be, yeah.
But lack the sense of motivation to do the work somehow.
Right.
It might be lacking of something that you actually have that you can provide as a coach.
Right. Right.
A mindset, stuff like that. It's
yeah, you're still coaching them.
Yeah, exactly. Like you see it all the time. Coach are not in great shapes.
Right. Right. Some of them are not.
They're not look super fit, and
Right.
And then, but you see the athletes away in way better shape.
They're the ones that are, exactly.
Yeah,
so it's like, coach. I mean, that's what ultimately you want the client, the athlete, to be like.
So basically, as a coach, you organize a structure for the athlete to perform.
Right, right. So it's a reframing of the mind, and just like, okay, what am I doing here? What's my goal?
And of course,
it's not to compete.
But other people in fitness would be like, I need to see that this guy knows what he's talking about.
Right.
So I need to see his body strong and everything. Does that make sense?
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. And, I've come across like some crazy prodigies at teaching music. I've had some students that just learn ridiculously fast. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I almost don't want to teach them so much. But no, not really. I want to teach them everything all the time, because their gain is never going to be my loss. And I think it's the same thing for personal training as well. I want them to succeed to the maximum, because it'll never take from me. It's not like they're taking my muscles. It's not like they're taking my music skill. So I want, that's a good reframing of the mind right there. Is I want everyone around me to succeed as much as possible in this lifetime.
Of course, and it's a good way to see.
I don't want to actually be above anybody, even though I have the teacher title or the coach title. It's different, because I'm trying to extract the very best out of them.
Well, I think if a coach see himself as someone superior than the member of the class, whatever.
Right.
What's the big issue? It's it doesn't make sense to approach it this way.
Right.
You just hear the job is just to provide like some kind of service to the person.
Right.
Whether the structure of the workout, showing the right moves, how to do things, and make sure everybody does the right thing. Because even someone who's like very athletic can have some bad habits, or even develop bad habits over time of working.
Right.
And then the coach can see that from outside. And, people can maybe don't notice that when they do it. So
you need someone watching you.
It's a teamwork, and same thing as a position of a leader. The leader is to serve people. It's not to be the chief of anything. He's not a manager.
It's not a tyrant.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's not the guy who's gotta get things from other people. He's the one who serves.
That's right.
He serves the other people.
The interesting irony that I think a lot of people forget is, like the king or anyone who has dominion over people is not like, trying to take from them. It's like, I'm serving them. I'm your representative. I'm the face of this land, this country. But I'm here for you.
Exactly.
That's what it is. That's why it's such a high responsibility job to be a teacher or a coach. It's a very humbling job, because sometimes you come across incredible talent and skills. But you are serving them. you're their coach,
Yeah.
but you're also catering to them.
Yeah.
Powerful. And
Yes.
that's the best way to be all the time, is how better can I serve as many people as possible. Don't focus on making $1 million. Focus on helping 1 million lives.
Yeah. It's the best way of thinking.
Yep.
For like, if you think this way, I think in your life you become very, very successful.
Yeah.
And it's going to be extremely fulfilling by you doing the right thing.
That's right.
And because if you help people, focus on helping people versus then focusing on making money,
right?
That's the game of life.
Exactly.
That's the game of life. And then the game of life, you need to also understand the rules.
Right.
And so it's a good way to like for you to go through the process of understanding the rules.
Right. Exactly.
And then learning from it, and then getting better and better, and serving better and better.
Yeah, that's our life mission, man.
Yeah.
Just to help as much our fellow human beings, as much as possible.
And I think this is why we're doing this too here.
Yes.
To better ourselves, to like go deeper in this kind of the conversations where we become better at it, so we can convey and share valuable information and what we learn.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, me as a viewer on YouTube, I love to learn from people from this kind of conversation.
Me too.
And then I think the more we do it, we kind of become these people at some point, and what we've learned from them,
and then
we try to like
will hopefully learn
do the
from
same
our
thing.
conversation.
Yeah.
You know, we're pulling from each other's mind on this, and that's what's great.
That way, like it creates a huge momentum, like of growth.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
on the human scale.
Yeah. We're all figuring out this life thing. Yeah. We're all figuring it out together, man.
Figure out the rules of the game.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta do. Because life is just a game.
Yes. So if there's any rules to the game that you want to bless us with, that you want to share with us, tell us in a comment. You know, any random golden nugget of, you know, life advice that's helped you. You know, we're all figuring this out together.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here to do. Help us to help you and to help everyone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, create that good sense of sharing informations and ideas, and then that's pretty much what we're doing this year. So
exactly.
Anybody who wants to like join us on that, more than welcome.
Exactly. You know, and soon enough we'll also get people. You know, we can get people doing some discussions with us as well. You know, anyone who's got a powerful story or a message. You know, I certainly would love to hear it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoy the rest of your week.
And I'll see you next week.
Take care.